best friend.
After 3 long months of football, we're finally about to crown a champion. Latrell Scott brings the Trojans to Durham with a 7-0 conference record, 8-2 overall. The Northern Division champions are looking for their 11th CIAA championship in school's history. In his first season, Keanis Boulware comes to Durham with an impressive 7-0, 9-1 record. A championship victory gives the Winston Salem Rams their 11th CIAA title. The wait is over. The best from the North, the best from the South for the CIAA championship.
Good afternoon from Durham, North Carolina, where today the best in the CIAA converge here for a CIAA championship as we welcome you inside Durham County Memorial Stadium. It's Winston-Salem State and Virginia State. Take a look at our Coca-Cola CIAA conference standings. Winston-Salem State perfect on the year in league action, 9-1 overall, and of course in the Northern Division, Virginia State also perfect and 8-2 throughout the year. Hi again, everybody. Along with Stan Luter, I'm Scott Przwanski. Thanks so much for being with us here today. And you know, Stan, when you play for a championship, you want the 2 best teams. I don't think anybody can dispute we've got the 2 best ones here today.
In all the years I've done the CIAA Football Championship, I don't think there's been a more eagerly anticipated game than this Virginia State-Winston-Salem State game. And for a lot of reasons. Obviously, everybody's talked about ad nauseum about the cancellation of last year's championship game. We've moved on from that. But you've got the 2 best teams the last 2 years, undefeated in CIAA play. Best defenses, best offenses, phenomenal players. It's what a championship game should be, and I can't wait for this one to start.
Yeah, let's talk about some football, too. Our Toyota keys to the game right now.
Well, for Virginia State, it's a real simple approach. They've got to make big plays and eliminate the big plays from Winston-Salem State. No costly turnovers, no explosion plays. Do that and you're going to be in the ball game. And they've got to be mentally tough today. If they have adversity, and sometimes you do in championship games, how will they handle the adversity? Mental toughness. For Winston-Salem, it's LOS, baby, all day long. Line of scrimmage. If Winston-Salem State can dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, usually they come out victorious. They expect to put a lot of pressure on and then run the ball. And finally, make no mistake, it's championship day, and Winston-Salem State really does it well. They can't make errors. If they don't make any mistakes, if they don't turn the ball over, if they don't have a lot of crazy penalties, Rams feel like they're taking another title home.
Well, you know, both these teams are here because they have some of the best players in the conference, no doubt about it. Our nationwide wants to watch now.
You're going to really enjoy watching Virginia State's Kevon Bellamy. Goes inside as well as outside. Has rushed for over 700 yards this season and 10 carries. The more he carries the ball, the stronger he becomes. On the defensive side, Brandon Robinson, 72 tackles on the season, one of the leaders in the CIAA, very aggressive defensive player. And you want special, none more special than Brandon Felder, the CIAA Special Teams Player of the Year. In addition to that, caught over 39 passes for 10 touchdowns. A guy that can do a lot of things, that's Felder. And then the Minister of Defense, the CIAA Defensive Player of the Year, Devontae Covington. Inside, outside, all around the ball, you'll find Covington.
Rams and Trojans ready to get after it here in Durham. Kickoff for a championship. It's coming up next.
Started my Camry.
Well, they've been waiting all week for this one. Here in Durham, North Carolina, as Winston-Salem State and Virginia State ready to get things going. The Rams brought their faithful in from Winston-Salem and quite a good size amount of Trojans here as well. Winston-Salem State won the coin toss, and the Rams have elected to defer to the second half. Winston-Salem State in red kicking off. And William Johnson's kickoff will go out of bounds, and Virginia State will take things over with good field position early, and your starting quarterback, Nico Johnson, the freshman quarterback. You see the numbers, hasn't played a whole lot this year, just 2 of 3 on the season. He's a guy, though, that the Virginia State coaching staff feels very comfortable with. They think he's got a great handle on the offense, has a cannon for an arm, and he's a dual threat guy as well. We'll see how he fits in early against this vaunted Winston-Salem State defense.
So he's got to have a little butterflies, anticipation. His first start, Terran Ayers, the quarterback we saw last week, that had a marvelous game in the second half running the ball, suspended for this football game, not make the trip. So as Coach Scott so adroitly said earlier in the week, next man up, Nico Johnson.
So here's Johnson. He'll roll out near side and puts it in the air immediately. He's got a man incomplete to Dion Futch, and a nice pickup on first down. Get a look at our McDonald's starting lineups in the backfield. We talked about Bellamy in the open. He's as good as it gets. 10 touchdowns on the season. That's number 1 in the CIAA. Smallwood as good as it gets on the outside, and up front, a couple of all-conference performers in Rijos and Ransom. Handed off to Bellamy, and he is met with a fury up front. Casey Davenport, the senior, leading the charge.
Casey Davenport, we'll talk a lot about this afternoon, along with the Defensive Player of the Year, Devontae Covington. But watch there, Nummy gets off the football very quickly. Davenport came in with 25 tackles on the season. Interesting, the first play call for Virginia State, and a little quick out. Try to get Johnson in some rhythm, give him some confidence. Being able to run the football is going to be very important for the Virginia State Trojans this afternoon. You expect Winston-Salem to put 7, 8 guys in the box.
And a flag on the field, and that'll be a false start on the Trojans.
Offense, number 77, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Virginia State, one of the least penalized teams in the CIAA, Scott. They can't afford to have backup plays. You can't pick up 7 or 8 yards and then lose 2 and then go into a 5-yard behind against Winston-Salem.
So that'll bring up 3rd down and about 8 to go here for Virginia State. Johnson will hand it off to Bellamy, and nowhere to go. Again up front, that defensive line, and it's Casey Davenport leading the way again.
Casey Davenport showing you one of the reasons why he was an all-CIAA performer as well. Gets off the ball very quickly, defeats the block. The senior from Baltimore, Maryland, with 2 early tackles.
Well, that'll bring Matthew Hillcrest on, the freshman. Averages 33 yards a game.
You remember last week, the kicking game, very shaky for Virginia State.
Gets it cleanly away, and a high spiraling kick. And great coverage as Brendan Felder won't go down without a fight. But if you're Virginia State, have to feel good about that coverage. And Rudy Johnson, your starting quarterback today, the senior. Of course, last year an all-CIAA performer, has been split in time this year with Phillip Sims, but hey, this guy can do it on the ground and through the air. Has been shaken up a little bit by an ankle injury this week, but Rudy Johnson's on the field. That is good news for Winston-Salem State. Hand off up the middle, and the Rams go to work on the ground to start things off. They've got 3 running backs you'll see throughout the course of the afternoon, and that guy Maurice Lewis leading the charge. Your McDonald's starting lineups, Key and Sab, all conference performers up front. They'll run to the right side the majority of the time, and out in the flat, Marcel Caver, he's a good one as well. Johnson will hand it off one more time to Lewis. And the ground game churning here early on for the Rams.
And 2 things we've talked about early, the line of scrimmage domination. We saw that on the 3-play drive of Virginia State. 2 of those tackles by Casey Davenport, and the offensive line doing a great job getting the first down of the day for Winston-Salem's all line.
Johnson's going to head back up to the line of scrimmage, change the play. 9 seconds on the clock. Hand it off again, and this time the defensive front is there and waiting for Virginia State.
Winston-Salem State averaged about 190 yards running the football this year, 21 touchdowns on the season. Who will they go against? This group, Scott.
There's your McDonald starting lineups. Linebackers Lynch, Robinson, and Rawls, as good as it gets in conference play. Thomas, Piggott, Jones, and Smith. The last line of defense here for the Trojans. 2nd and 9. And Johnson to the air. Pump fakes and little miscommunication with Caver that time, and that'll bring up 3rd down and long.
Tried to run Felder across the formation, his initial look. Then they tried to go deep to Eric Williams. Nothing there. 3rd read that time for Johnson. Back pass just a little bit behind the intended receiver.
So 3rd and 9, balls on the 38.
Winston-Salem State 62 of 149 in 3rd down conversions this season.
Johnson again, a peek to the sideline. He's got Lewis to his left. Here comes the pressure. Johnson fires, and 1st down, Rams. Complete to Caver, the junior. And the Rams move the chains.
Rudy Johnson, known more as the running quarterback of the two. He and Sims really comfortable in the pocket this time. Delivers a strike. Marcel Caver, one of the outstanding receivers of this Ram wide receiver core. 38 catches on the season. The transfer with a nice catch and 1st down.
Johnson in a rhythm here early. He'll hand it off to Mustafa Green, who's just checked in. Green looking for room and down near the 1st down marker. Mustafa Green, another one of those running backs, and it's just interchangeable parts, it seems like, in the backfield for the Rams this year.
You'll see Maurice Lewis, Tyree Massey, Mustafa Green, and maybe even Brunson Green. And these guys carry the football efficiently and very effectively.
Gain of 9 on the play. Give it to Green one more time. Lost it. Ball's loose. Picked up by Virginia State. That's Dontrell Jones. Jones could go all the way. Touchdown, Virginia State.
We talked about having some big plays on the afternoon. First big play right here. Never really gets the snap, gets the ball pops out. And Dontrell Jones gets a block to the outside, another block there, and takes it 61 yards to the house, and you're looking for a big play. There it is for Virginia State.
How about that? Winston-Salem State moving the ball down the field. The turnover, the PAT is good. And just like that, Virginia State strikes off the turnover. Dontrell Jones says, look at what I found. And the Trojans are out in front.
To be styling and profiling, then make your way to GQ Menswear.
Well, you get the feeling for Virginia State. When they came into this game, they were looking to say, hey, let's just stay in this ball game early. Winston-Salem State, they've been here before. They've got more experience. But I'll tell you, the Trojans get the first break of the game, and Dontrell Jones picked up that fumble, and he would not be denied. And the Trojans lead it here 7-0.
Last time Virginia State was in the championship, 2010, a 14-7 loss to Shaw. Alfred Nuega recovered a block kick and took it 76 yards for a touchdown to tie that game at 7-7. Eventually, Shaw would score the late game touchdown and win the championship. So big plays early in the ball game for Virginia State on championship Saturday. They've certainly done a couple of times.
Felder and Green are back deep. Mustafa Green will field it on the run, across the 30. And that's where he will be brought down by a sea of white jerseys.
That was the 5th touchdown that the defense has scored this year for Scott for Virginia State. So they have been a very opportunistic bunch all season long.
Get a look at Dontrell Jones, officially 58 yards. Junior from Hampton, Virginia.
The game last week had a few tackles, had that interception late in the ball game.
So 1st and 10 from the 33. Handed off to Maurice Lewis over the right side. Nice pickup, but a penalty flag is on the play. Andre Rawls, among others, in on the stop.
Holding. Offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay. First down.
So that'll back up the Rams, and if you follow Winston-Salem State, you know penalties are something that has really plagued this group.
They're giving up almost 100 yards per ball game in penalties, 97.9 to be exact. Second most penalties in the CIAA.
Ball moves back to the 23. Johnson to the air. He's got time and nearly intercepted, but there's going to be a flag, and Jones may have got him for pass interference here.
Let's take a look at this. Pressure to the inside. Andrew Faison comes on the blitz, is picked up.
Pass interference.
And yeah, Dontrell Jones a little too soon on the intended receiver for Winston-Salem State.
First down.
Deshaun Townsend.
Well, Jones may be thinking a little amped up after that fumble recovery for the touchdown. Flagged on the play. Moved the ball out to the 38, and first down for Winston-Salem. Here's Johnson to pick up the blitz. Now he's on the go. Eludes a tackler across midfield. And a first down for Winston-Salem State.
As strong as the defensive backs and linebackers are for Virginia State, the one thing that they cannot account for is Rudy Johnson's legs. We've seen his strong arm, but he is the better running quarterback between he and Sims. Not afraid to take the ball down and run. Rushed 64 times for almost 300 yards. If there's one thing that you look at and say, okay, what takes me over the hump for Winston-Salem, it could be the legs of Rudy Johnson.
Put so much pressure on the defense. 1st and 10 from the 46. Johnson had a man and just missed him, and that'll bring up second down. Trying to find Caver.
Johnson suffered a few little nagging injuries this season. Maybe not as sharp as he was on his record-breaking performance last year, but you see the ability to get to the outside, threw that ball just a little bit off balance.
Think about what he did last year. 2,400 yards, 28 touchdowns, and then this year he comes back and splits time with Phillip Sims.
And still threw for over 1,100 yards.
2nd and 10 from the 46, handed off to Lewis. Short pickup, and that'll bring up 3rd and long.
And the chess game continues. Steve Lubisky, the offensive coordinator, is put in a few wrinkles for this football team this year. There was already a very effective offensive squad. Jerry Holmes, longtime football coach, was a coach at Hampton at one time, the defensive coordinator. They're going to match wits all game long. 3rd down. Do you pressure?
3rd and 9 as Johnson takes another peek towards the sideline. Play clock at 5. Johnson's got a man, but he's drilled and will be short of the first down. Tyrell Smith read it, landed him down.
Great open field tackle by Tyrell Smith, the junior from Richmond. Nice throw, route underneath 2nd and 3rd receivers. But you can see that part of Virginia State's plan is to keep Johnson in the pocket by coming right at him from the outside. Rudy steps in there. Eric Williams, another one of those solid receivers for Winston-Salem State. Not enough for the first down.
So William Johnson will stand on his 45 to punt this one away. Just tries to pooch it down there. Futch will let it go over his head and into the end zone, and a touchback. And Virginia State will have it. So 7:26 to play here in the first, and we'll get a look at Nico Johnson and this Trojan offense again here on their second offensive series.
In the first set, we saw Nico Johnson with a little out route. Picked up about 7 or 8 yards, and they lose some yards. It'll be interesting to see after this timeout what Virginia State will do offensively.
All right, we'll take a timeout as well. Back with more after this.
Let's go.
Food Lion.
CIAA football is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Food Lion. By Coca-Cola. By Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it. Get a good look at Latrell Scott, CIAA Coach of the Year. And has this Virginia State program rolling. 2 straight North Division championships. Handed off to Trey Johnson, and he is met down with a fury again up front. This line for Winston-Salem State has been good for several years.
James Hickman, one of those outside backers. We're going to call Hickman's name quite a number of times, I anticipate. Terry Ross on the outside along with DJ Bunn. Coach Boulware, the architect of this defense for many years, now moved over to the head football job and has done an outstanding job. He's got some guys coming in, Darren Hart, Richard Hayes, now the co-defensive coordinators.
Pass complete. Short, will bring up 3rd down.
One thing if you're Virginia State that you have to do is ground game. You've got to pick up something on 1st down to keep Nico Johnson out of these 3rd long situations. Virginia State led the CIAA in time of possession. Today's got to be one of those days.
Well, he's got some receivers in Stubblefield and Smallwood, some veteran guys.
Trojans on the season, only 40% on 3rd downs, 53 of 132.
3rd and 5 here. Johnson's going to scramble out. Eyes downfield. He's going to tuck it under and go for it. And dives across the 31-yard line and should be enough for a 1st down.
Talking to the coaches at Virginia State Thursday night and even again before the ball game, they said the one thing that they felt like he could do was some option, some read option, not afraid to run the football. Like I said, his first start, Nico Johnson handled himself very well. Knew what he needed to do for the 1st down, tucks the shoulder, gets down.
First down of the game here for the Trojans. Ball placed on about the 31 for Johnson. He'll hand it off or fake the handoff to Bellamy and keep it. Pick up of a couple.
You're able to pick up good yardage on 1st down, extend series for a bit. Does a couple of things. One, obviously, it keeps the Winston-Salem State offense #1 scoring team in the conference off the field. And secondly, it gives that defense of Virginia State a little bit of time to get some breathing room, kind of sit back and relax for a little bit. As much as you can keep them off the field, that's a good thing for the Trojans today.
Gain of 3 on the play, brings up 2nd down. Bellamy standing to Johnson's left. This time he'll give it to Bellamy. Bulls his way forward to about the 38. 3rd down coming up. Bellamy's one of those guys that we watched him last week at Virginia Union. Seems like he just kind of gets better and better as the game goes along. He's going to have a hard time wearing down this big offensive, this big defensive front for Winston-Salem State. He goes better than 300 pounds across the board, but he's a good one.
He's had 6 games where he's carried over 20 times, had 29 carries for 139 early in the season against Elizabeth City. Not afraid to carry the football.
So 3rd and 3 for the Trojans. Johnson, a quick hitter, and enough for a 1st down on the forward progress. And a nice grab by Stubblefield.
I'll tell you what, Scott, Nico Johnson, one in another series, has been very impressive with his decision making. Out of the shotgun, quick step, gets rid of the football very quickly. Stubblefield knew exactly what he needed for the first down. Took about 6 yards and catching first down.
Ball placed on the 43. Johnson's going to keep it up the middle. He's got some room and close to another first down. I think he got it. Right now, Nico Johnson looking very comfortable in this offense.
They like him out of the read option, but look at that. Great block at the point of attack by Rios, number 70, one of those all-conference linemen. Ronnie Ransom, number 79. They said, hey, we like to run the football a lot, 30, 40 times.
1st and 10 from the 46.
And if you're Johnson, you just can't be careless. You're having some success now.
Trojans churning up some clock on this drive as Bellamy bulls his way forward. And on the play, Michael Douglas along with Connor O'Neill. Rams been pretty quiet here in the first quarter, mainly because of what Virginia State has done when they've had the football. And they just very methodically are moving the ball down the field on this series.
Winston Salem State offensively scored 111 points in the first quarter alone of ball games. Only allowed 14.
2nd and 5. Michael Bloomfield, among others, in on the stop. We'll bring up 3rd down here. Yet another 3rd down for Virginia State.
Michael Bloomfield, 2nd team all CIAA, one of the sack leaders in the CIAA with 8. Coach Boulware and I were talking, and he says, hey, he's not seen a guy that's continuing to improve each and every ball game as this young man has, the 6'3" junior.
Crowd getting into it on the Winston-Salem State side here in Durham County Memorial Stadium. 3rd and 3. Bellamy again bulls his way forward and a first down for the Trojans. Devontae Covington was holding on, but you love the way Bellamy just keeps churning those legs forward. And again, as you've talked about, Stan, the clock just continues to move. 10 plays, 45 yards here on this current drive. And the best part about it for Virginia State, that vaunted Winston-Salem State offense is just sitting idle on the sidelines.
They won time of possession 9 out of 10 games this year.
Johnson. And complete to Bellamy out of the backfield. If he didn't have to dive for it, he would have gone the distance for a touchdown. But give Johnson some credit. He got plastered, just unleashed that football in time.
Boy, did he ever. Bellamy maybe got the wind knocked out of him as he extends the play. But watch Johnson stay inside and he gets level. Bellamy extends, makes a nice catch. And if he's able to keep on his feet, that could be a 6 for the Trojans.
Ready to be styling and profiling? Then make your way to GQ Menswear, where you buy a suit and get 2 suits for free. Yes, buy 1 suit and get 2 suits free. Or get the GQ Hookup, where you buy a suit starting at $139.99 and get the shirt, tie, hanky, socks, and shoes for free. Choose from Stacey Adams, Steve Harvey, Sean John, Calvin Klein, Michael Kors, and more. For the most style in shoes, shirts and ties, leisure sets, sweaters, sport coats, hats, and more. Regular, small, big, and tall. GQ Menswear, 48 Southgate Square, Colonial Heights.
CW Richmond's TV giveaway is back. Mondays at 9, watch Jane the Virgin. Then Tuesdays at 8, watch The Flash. Look for the secret code, then text it to 80412 for your shot at a new TV. So remember, Jane the Virgin.
Pink means pregnant.
Scott, got to be very impressed so far with what Nico Johnson's done. Some of the read option, but he stays inside here and just absolutely gets leveled. Alquan Bullock put his head right in his chest, made him get rid of the football a little bit before he wanted to. but a nice drive nonetheless so far for Virginia State.
Well, Bellamy also shaken up on that play. He remained down on the field for quite a bit of time. He's out right now. They hand it off to Trey Johnson. Bellamy did get up under his own power, and not sure if just, got the wind knocked out of him, landed hard on that shoulder as well. And we'll continue to monitor his status, and so important is Bellamy to the offense, and there you go, right back on the field.
We talked about the different running backs that Winston-Salem State has. Virginia State's got a nice little load of running backs too. Bellamy, the all-conference performer, Trey Johnson, we saw a moment ago, and Earl Hughes, who they use in a lot of ways. Out of the backfield, he's a kick return guy on the CIAA rookie team as we end quarter number 1.
Yeah, Virginia State in no hurry here this afternoon. They lead at 7-0, and the offense content to let the quarter run out. And Virginia State off the fumble early in the first quarter. They lead it as we move to the second quarter. Dontrell Jones took it the distance.
It's in the brief.
We get set to start the second quarter. Virginia State's offense still on the field. They've had it for better than 7 minutes on this drive, and have moved it down to the 24, 2nd and 9. Here's Johnson. He's got time. Pump fakes. Now he's going to scramble. Got a man out beyond the 20 and out of bounds. About the 13-yard line.
Scott,
there is a flag on the play. Yeah. Let's look at our Toyota first quarter stats and go all the way down to the bottom. And you'll see a time of possession in favor of Virginia State. Otherwise, fairly balanced. Again, the turnover, the difference in the game so far.
Threw a flag about the 18-yard line. Holding, I think is what the call was, against Winston-Salem State. But the pickup for Virginia State was about 10 yards on that play.
Number 92 shaking up on the play.
So we'll see if Virginia State elects to decline this.
Connor O'Neill shaken up for Winston-Salem State, the senior.
Defense number 20. Penalty is declined. The result.
Well, the end result is 1st and 10 for the Trojans, and the ball down on the 14-yard line.
Connor O'Neill, down lineman for Winston-Salem, helped off the field.
So look at Nico Johnson. He's going to keep it. And brought down just shy of the 10-yard line. Larry Hearn, senior, came up for the stop.
Nico Johnson feeling very confident right now, 5 of 5. Throwing the football, comes off on the read option. You can see a lot of eyes on Bellamy inside. Johnson elects to keep it, picks up 4 or 5 yards. Nice play, but took a lick by Larry Hearn, the hitman Hearn.
2nd and 6, ball placed on the 10-yard line.
Man, you've got a lot of options if you're Virginia State. They really like to run the ball inside behind Rios and Ransom. You've got Stubblefield and Southern wide.
Nico Johnson, and he goes down. The Rams defense read it perfectly as Casey Davenport, the all-conference performer.
And this is where Winston-Salem State really kind of arches their back, and you see just getting rid of the defender. Davenport does a great job. You want to know why he's one of the best players in the CIAA? Davenport
came in with 8.5 tackles for loss on the year, has a way of getting into the backfield, and he's seen it all as a senior.
You just don't know who to block. You've got Davenport, O'Neill's out of the game, but Emil Smith comes in. Alfie Hill, all-conference player, and then the Van is the defensive player of the year, Covington.
Empty backfield for Johnson. He's going to run it, tucks it under. Johnson hurdled his way into the end zone. Lost the football, though, but a touchdown for the Trojans.
Talking about laying it out for the team. An 11-yard run. Watch Johnson fumbles the ball before he gets over the end line. Can't quite see who recovers the football. Remember, it's the white line, not the yellow line. That's about at the 1-yard line. So he doesn't get in. Ball clearly comes out. Great job, guys, in the staff. Great job in the truck. But the ball is recovered. Not certain who that was. We'll have to wait for someone to tell us. But nonetheless, Virginia State with the lead.
PAT is good. Nico Johnson leading his club down the field. And the Trojans 14-0.
Holiday season is fastly approaching.
Well, there's Ronnie Ransom, the junior, and he's smiling for a reason. He's got a touchdown here today.
You've got to continue to make hustle plays. Johnson elects to carry the ball, lays out. Everybody making a hit on that play. Ball pops out. Ronnie Ransom somewhere there. Alquan Bullock put a lick on Johnson. Ball scoots out. And Ronnie Ransom, big number 79, the all-conference offensive lineman, gets a touchdown in the championship game.
Number 2, Felden, along with number 4.
16 plays, 80 yards, 9 minutes and 25 seconds off the clock for Virginia State on that drive. It's been a long time since Winston-Salem State has had a touch at it here. Finally, they do. This is Mustafa Green across the 35 down at about the 36-yard line. We would like to bring in Charmaine S. Fuller Cooper of AARP. She's an associate state director here in North Carolina. And Charmaine, appreciate you being with us here today. Tell us a little bit about the relationship with AARP and the CIAA and how special that has been for you all.
Thank you for having us here today. AARP is looking at real possibilities, and one of the communities that we are strongly committed to are African-American schools in North Carolina and beyond. Our HBCUs are critical to partnering to build financial security, health security, and personal fulfillment throughout the United States.
Johnson under pressure. He's rolling out. Check it, it's Sims, and he's just going to try to unload the football.
And that's probably going to be grounding, Scott.
Take a look and see how it plays out. Charmaine, talk a little bit also about a number of different programs which you have out in the communities and how well they've been working for you.
One of our key programs is related to financial freedom. We recognize that a lot of people have struggled, especially during the recession, and now that the economy is bouncing back, we still realize that a lot of people are still struggling. So one of the things we want to make sure that people are able to do is make sure that they're saving for a secure retirement, but we also are realistic and reasonable in understanding that a lot of people are struggling with saving for their right now and handling their finances at the current time. So we have financial freedom programs where we partner with African-American churches in the local community throughout the state. We also have partnered continuously with our HBCUs, such as Winston-Salem State University, and we're looking at other partnerships. We also frequently partner with Shaw University and the Shaw University Bears and their Divinity School. So we're constantly partnering to bring our tools, our resources, and our programs on financial security to more communities and to more families.
Charmaine, thank you so much, and thank you so much for what AARP does in our communities.
Thank you for having us.
There's intentional grounding on the Phillips Sims play. Second and a long 16.
And Sims, a little too much heat on it as he tried to find Mustafa Green out of the backfield. That will bring up third down and long.
33, yeah. Sims was outside the tackle box, but there was no receiver around, and the ball did not cross the line of scrimmage.
Third down and long.
We'll see Virginia State probably rush 3, drop 8 into coverage.
See Winston-Salem State 1 of 2 from third down. The big one coming up here for Sims. He's got time. Airs it out downfield. He's got a man. Felder almost got down to the first down marker. Or check out the original line of scrimmage, I think.
Nice play fake inside by Winston-Salem. Kind of freezes the backers, but you see they're in zone coverage, nothing deep. Nice shrewd tackle. You see Andre Ross trying to strip Felder at the end of that play.
Well, that first down marker was way on down the field, wasn't it? So the Rams are going to have to punt, and Virginia State's going to get it right back again. Futch is going to let it bounce. Takes a Winston-Salem State roll and down at about the 19-yard line as William Johnson gets it away. Virginia State just had it for 9.5 minutes on their last drive, and they've got it again. Virginia State out in front here in Durham, 14-0, 11:52 to play here in the second quarter. And Virginia State, after that lengthy drive, comes back out on the field. And if you're Winston-Salem State, you got to be thinking right now, we have got to get a quick 3 and out, get our offense the football back.
You may remember 2 years ago they found themselves down 10-0 early against Elizabeth City, came up with a big 20-point win.
And that's one way to do it. Defensively in on the sack, ball was loose, but the Trojans hopped on it.
Johnson's going to see everything but the kitchen sink now. Watch from the outside coming down the line of scrimmage. That's Alfie Hill, the transfer from Alabama, comes in there and makes the play. But Johnny on the spot for the second time this afternoon. Winston-Salem State can't recover the Virginia State fumble.
Looked like Haley recovered it for the Trojans, but Alfie Hill, all-conference performer, 6.5 sacks on the year. All-conference performer, and he was in on the backfield, 2nd and 14. Virginia State hands it off this time to Bellamy around the right side, and the Rams defense beginning to bow up a little bit now.
Kayvon Bellamy, a guy that last year was on the defensive side of the ball, played linebacker, some defensive back. Comes back to the offensive side, initially recruited as an offensive player, and has really come in and had a super season. As we mentioned, first team all-conference, ran for over 725 yards, 10 touchdowns. Talking to him the other night at the awards dinner, says, yeah, I love carrying the football. It's not that heavy. And with the offensive line doing the job they've done for him all season long, it makes it become very easy. But here we go, another third down situation for Virginia State.
3rd and long, empty backfield for Nico Johnson.
Let's see if Winston-Salem State, anticipating pass or draw, puts pressure on the inside.
Johnson over the middle. He's got Smallwood. And a first down for Virginia State. First team performer is Smallwood, and he's been a go-to receiver all year long for the Trojans, and comes up big, and another 3rd down conversion for Virginia State.
Virginia State expects to come up big today. It was sort of quiet last week. The one catch against Union for a touchdown, 48 receptions on the season. Very strong guy that's gotten better. Out route, needed about 8 yards, took 10. But a nice, strong throw once again by Nico Johnson.
Brings up first down and 10 from the 30. Bellamy takes it right side, and he stood up at the 30-yard line.
And you're beginning to see Virginia State's attack. They're trying to throw some read option. That frozen lineman for just a minute. Devontae Covington. Covington quickly responds to the play. 3-4 red shirts around the ball carrier. But I think you're seeing out of Virginia State a nice mix of run and pass, a little bit of option, maybe not expecting this time 5 receivers, stretch the defense of Winston-Salem. Don't let them crowd the box.
Gain of 1, so 2nd and 9. To the air, the Trojans go again. Smallwood once again on the receiving end, and will be just shy of the first down marker, and another key 3rd down opportunity for this Winston-Salem State defense to try to get off the field.
And the receivers of Virginia State, very sure-handed guys. Deion Futch, Claude Thomas, we may talk about. Stubblefield, we've already seen. And Javon Smallwood's making an impact on the game on the short routes. They like to use him a lot inside the slot. Very strong, can get off the line of scrimmage.
Empty set again for Nico Johnson. He's got time, tucks it under. First down for Johnson, and he's going to slide at the 45. Trojans move the chains again.
This is a play called delayed draw. It looks everybody influenced right side, feels the pressure, and then just goes right up the middle. He needed a yard, picks up about 6 on the play, but a nice job again by Nico Johnson.
So down at the 45, and Nico Johnson has had the answer for everything Winston-Salem State has thrown at him on third down especially. And here's a fumble on the play, but Bellamy gets it right back. Picks up a couple yards. It's been that kind of day for Virginia State. Ball's just going their way right now. Bloomfield in on the stop, and a gain of 2 or 3 yards here for the Trojans. Not a bad day for a guy who came in only tossing 3 passes on the year. 7 of 7, 56 yards, and he's gained 35 on the ground.
And that was in mop-up duty. Had 1 completion for 6 yards in that romp against Lincoln for homecoming a couple of weeks ago.
Johnson hands it off to Bellamy. He's got some room across the 40, 35, and down at the 30-yard line.
Scott, say what you want. A masterful game plan so far by Virginia State and the surge of the offensive line. We talked about line of scrimmage domination. Look at that big hole right there. Ronnie Ransom, Ray Rios, Bud Hudson. A nice run by Bellamy. Picks up 22 yards on the play.
And Winston-Salem State is going to call a timeout as Virginia State is moving the ball again. Trojans threatening, up by 2 touchdowns.
Holiday season is fastly approaching, and at City to City Auto Sales, it's the buy now, pay later sale. No payments in November, no payments in December, no payments until next year. The buy now, pay later sale is happening now at City to City Auto Sales. The vehicles you dream of are all waiting. No credit, bad credit, need credit, no problem. City to City Auto Sales is home of the guaranteed financing program.
City to City Auto Sales, affordable luxury vehicles forever.
Gonna land a small town, gonna gold in my hands. Gypsy, I know you understand.
6:53 left to play in the half. Winston-Salem State trailing 14-0. In our nationwide trivia question, how many times has the CIAA championship been held right here in Durham?
Now, you got 2 really nice venues. Durham for the CIAA Football Championship, Durham County Memorial Stadium, and then going back to Time Warner Cable Arena for the CIAA Basketball Tournament. These are really some nice sites for CIAA championships.
No question about
Come to
it.
the game, stay all day.
Right now, Winston-Salem State fans, maybe weather a little colder than they expected, because 24 plays, 131 yards, and look at the time of possession. That's the last 2 possessions. And again, Nico Johnson moves forward on the ground.
Scott, masterful game by Nico Johnson. Take your eye on 98 Alfie Hill. Quentin Alton, I should say. He was completely fooled on that play, followed the fake of Bellamy, and a nice run of 8 yards by quarterback Nico Johnson. And what Virginia State has done is they've shown a lot of diversity in their offense. Runs, short passes.
2nd and 2, handed off to Bellamy. And Winston-Salem State not fooled that time. Michael Bloomfield in on the stop.
We're going to run the little trap inside.
And another 3rd down here for Virginia State.
Virginia State had to find ways to keep extra men out of the box, thinking that Nico Johnson may not could throw the football. You knew they were going to anticipate putting 7, 8 guys in. They've done a really nice job by formation alone of spreading the field and giving those offensive linemen of VSU a little room to make their blocks.
3rd and 1. Hand it off to Bellamy, and he's not going to make it. Terry Ross, Casey Davenport in on the stop.
Strength of the team, the linebackers, they just come in there and read that quickly, make a play. Davenport, Ross among the others nail the first real big decision we're going to see out of Latrell Scott. Hillquist's longest, 26 yards, 5 out of 11 kicking, was kind of shaky last week. Need about a yard here.
So 4th down, and Virginia State's going for it. Johnson to the air. And incomplete, well defended by Larry Hearn. Intended for Stubblefield, and the Rams defense gets a hold.
Didn't see that one coming, the fade route to the outside. Nice defensive play. Hearn, who's one of those guys that they say, hey, look, gets better and better. You don't want to throw his way too many times. I like the idea, but the way they've been running the football, I think maybe you just try to figure out a way to get to the outside and run.
And a big stop for the Winston-Salem State defense, and now can they do something with it on this side of the ball? Phillip Sims, he's going to hand it off to the left side. And a short pickup for Maurice Lewis. No gain on the play, 2nd and 10. So we asked, how many times has the CIAA championship been held here in Durham? Our nationwide trivia question, 10 times. 5 over at Central. Quick hitter out in the flat, complete to Felder, turns the corner, and a 1st down for Winston-Salem State. The Ram faithful getting on their feet here in Durham now. Maybe a little momentum starting to build for Winston-Salem.
Phillip Sims in the quarterback now. Had the first drive a little shaky. Had the sack, which led into the intentional ground, and this time a little more comfortable. Finds Felder for 19 yards. And you can't make, if they turn this around, you think back to that 4th down fade route.
Ball out on the 39-yard line, and a flag on the play, and looks like someone moved up front a little early.
Penalty. Replay 1st down.
So a false start on Winston-Salem State will back them up 5.
Virginia State showed some pressure that time. They're going to bring somebody, and Michael Sellers, center, trying to anticipate that, got the snap, and then changed his mind. It should have been on 2, and he says 3, holds up a little bit, so that puts him back 5 yards.
Ball back on the 34 now for Sims. Fakes the handoff. He's got pressure coming. Unloads and complete to Marcel Caver. Boy, Sims had some defenders breathing down his neck.
Did he ever? Play fake inside. He rolls Sims outside, and you can see like a heat-seeking missile. 14 is coming. Brandon Lynch and a host of other Virginia State Trojans, including Brandon Robinson. That clock in your head is telling you, get rid of the football. Nice pass.
2nd and 7. Tyree Massey in the ball game, his first carry. And 3rd down coming up. We were talking about our nationwide trivia question.
For many years, the CIAA championship was played at other campuses. They went on a hiatus for about 10 years and then came back in 2000. The first 2 championships were in at Durham over at North Carolina Central. Winston-Salem and Virginia Union split. They brought it up to Winston-Salem for a couple of years. It's been at Durham County State, and nobody can ever forget those last-second field goals by Brandon Gilbert for North Carolina Central. So now we got another home in Durham.
3rd and 6. And a 1st down here for Winston-Salem and some more.
Talked about the explosive play of Brandon Felder. all-conference performer, player of the year in special teams. Sims plenty of time, throws the ball inside. Nice 16-yard catch. Watch this after the catch. Avoids one tackler there. Bounces up, can't keep his feet. May have gotten some more, but the Ram offense now rolling.
2 minutes, 10 seconds left in the half. Massey, left side. Nowhere to go there as he is brought down. It's Brandon Lynch in on the stop as you get a good look at Massey, the junior running back.
Keep in mind, Winston-Salem State deferred. So if they could score just before the half and they get the ball back to begin the second half, wow, there's a momentum swing.
Gain of 3 on the play. Clock continues to run, 1:37 and counting. As Sims takes a peek to the sideline. He's got Massey behind him. Fake the handoff to Massey. Sims, eyes downfield. He's going to air it out. It's got a man. Touchdown Rams. Eric Williams, 38 yards.
Scott, an excellent double move by Eric Williams, a sophomore. Plenty of time for Sims. Stays in the pocket. You won't see it, but you won't see a better ball thrown than this. Comes right down to the wide open Eric Williams. Nice job defending, beating Trayvon Bryan, but we'll see this a minute. He put on a move and then a second move and finds himself wide open for the touchdown.
PAT is good, and the Rams offense strikes quickly. 7 plays, 78 yards on the drive.
What you don't see is that second little move. He starts to the outside, then comes back to the end. And plenty of time, a pretty pass, just dropping it in the bucket. An easy 6 for Winston-Salem State.
So Eric Williams, his 9th touchdown reception on the year. 7 plays, 78 yards, 3 minutes, 22 seconds. You see it on the scoring drive, and for Winston-Salem State, for the first time this game, they've got a little life. And the Ram faithful made their way down I-85 from Winston-Salem on their feet. Here with 1:18 left to play in the half.
Great bounce back for Winston-Salem State. As we said, they were down early in the game 2 years ago to Elizabeth City, came back with an impressive 34-19 win.
William Johnson to kick it off, a low line drive kick. It'll drive Futch into the end zone and roll out the back. The Rams on the sidelines feeling good. At the half, just moments away, we will hear sights and sounds of both bands. Of course, stats and highlights as well. The Trojan explosion of Virginia State and the Red Sea of Sound, of course, of Winston-Salem State. I'm going to take the headsets off for a little while.
You know, this is one of these classic matchups. And like I said, they haven't played in about 10 years. The teams are competitive. Both bands have been down to Atlanta for that event several times. The cheerleaders go at each other. This is picture perfect day. A little cold, but it'll be okay.
1:18 left to go. Virginia State's going to hand it off to Bellamy, and he's wrapped up inside the 20. Yes, sir, Casey Davenport.
And old Mo is wearing red right now. Watch Casey Davenport break there inside, gets away from his block, usually a sure block by Dakota Reeves. He just gets rid of Reeves. And Bellamy understands exactly what's going on, so let me go down. Winston-Salem takes a timeout. Maybe they can get the ball back.
Well, that's certainly what Coach Boulware is thinking here, is the defensive front for Winston-Salem State trying to exert itself again.
If you're Virginia State, you've got to try to continue to be aggressive in your thoughts. Get some first downs, milk this clock, get in at the half, and regroup, okay? Regroup. I mean, Winston-Salem State comes in as the toughest team in the conference. And look at that, they've got 2 guys on the Player of the Year. Devontae Covington, Felden we've seen, Jalen Hendricks at Lincoln, Livingstone should be instead of Lincoln, I'm sorry, and Trevin Gordon, Clayton Lewis, who is very impressive at St. Augustine's.
Johnson's going to keep it and leveled as he crosses the 25-yard line.
Winston's going to take their last time out.
Devontae Covington on the year, 42 tackles. You see the numbers, and you know, this is a senior and a guy from Greensboro, North Carolina that has anchored this defense since he stepped foot on campus. A member, of course, of that core unit from last year. 8 senior starters this year, a defense that was ranked #1 from a year ago, and they've been impressive again this year.
They've only given up 45 points this season in the second half alone. The defense has been dominant. The offense has been more than dominant. They're very efficient. And this Winston-Salem team finding themselves in the fight with the Woo-Woos team. And the Woo-Woos on one side and the Red Team Cheer Squad on the other. Trojan explosion across the field. Red Seal sound. All to watch the Trojans and the Rams play.
So 56 seconds and a little change left in the half, and a 3rd and 7 now for Virginia State. See how aggressive they get on this play call. Nico Johnson hands it off to Bellamy. And Bellamy brought down at about the 31-yard line.
And I'm not sure at the end of this play, it's a little draw play. You see the D-line shifts. But at the end of this play, Alquan Bullock just absolutely levels one of the Virginia State players, Dion Futch. And I'm not certain that that shouldn't have been flagged. Virginia State's going to wisely try to wait. Play clock's at 14 seconds, game clock at 17. Watch the end of this play. At the top, you see this, and then boom. Should have been flagged. Should have been flagged.
Yeah, unnecessary. No reason for that whatsoever.
And what Bullock will say is that Futch grabbed him. And you saw that, and they always get the second play. They didn't get the second one there.
Well, Virginia State content to let the play clock run out, take the penalty, and 4.1 left to play here in the half. And Latrell Scott just preaching to his club right now. Protect that punter. If they even punt it.
Winston Salem State has declined the 10-second runoff. It'll be fourth down.
They declined. They've had 3 punts blocked this season, Scott. Winston-Salem State's blocked 3 kicks themselves.
You see the ground attack today between Johnson and Bellamy. They've been pretty good in the first half and have kept that Winston-Salem State defensive line at bay for the majority of this first half of action. So 4th and 3 now. Check it, 4th and 8. 4 seconds to go. Johnson's just going to hand it off to Bellamy and let this one run out. Bellamy gets across the 30-yard line, and that'll do it for the first half here in Winston-Salem. An early turnover sparked the Trojans out to a 7-0 lead. They led it 14-0, but momentum appears to be shifting in the favor of red and white of Winston-Salem.
Winston-Salem's been down twice at halftime. Once against Valdosta State, a game that they lost by a touchdown, and last week down 7-0 to Fayetteville State. They came back to win 17-7.
So a good one here in Durham. Virginia State out in front by a touchdown. Halftime festivities coming up.
Started my Camry. Went to...
Back in Durham, Virginia State out in front 14-7 as the Trojan explosion out on the field, greeting the fans here at Durham County Memorial Stadium. Their Trojans leading by a touchdown. While we have a moment here at the half on our Toyota halftime report, we'd like to bring in a good friend, John Ridgway. Works with the Toyota Financial Service audio issues, so we'll come back to John here in a moment. But while we work on that, let's take a listen in to the Trojan explosion of Virginia State University. That's the Trojan explosion of Virginia State. We're at the half here in Durham.
I'm Officer Ryan Carey.
Back at the half here in Durham, Virginia State dancing their way to a 7-point lead, 14-7. Trojan explosion out on the field right now. So that the sights and sounds of the Virginia State band, the Trojan explosion. Certainly Virginia State feeling good about how they started off this ball game, racing out to a 14-point lead for Winston-Salem State. Scores with about a minute and 20 left to play in the half on the Phillip Sims 38-yard pass to Eric Williams. Certainly a lot of stars out on the field here today, Stan, and a number of all-conference performers we've seen live up to their billing this afternoon.
It's a season of stars. Kyrie Lee, you may see him on Sundays in a few years. Three-time All-CIAA performer. Justin Key, Michael Sabb, we're watching. Addison Hayes, we saw last week at Virginia Union. Rios and Ransom, watching those guys do what they do. Jalen Hendricks, outstanding wide receiver at Livingstone, 79 catches on the season. Smallwoods had a nice game. Roderick Davenport, we saw him early in the year at St. Augustine's. Bellamy, Suarez, we haven't talked about much today, but certainly a strong kicker, and Brandon Felder, the kick returner. You look at the defensive side, Scott, Anthony McDaniel, another guy that's going to be maybe a Sunday football player soon from Bowie State. Covington, Hill, Davenport, we're talking about them a lot. Austin Jocks, strong guy not only on the field but in the classroom at Johnson C. Smith. Andre Rawls having a nice game along with Terry Ross from Winston-Salem State. We were very impressed with Charles Davis on and off the field last week at Virginia Union.
Yeah.
Curtis Pumphrey 3 times on the All-CIAA team, among others. An outstanding group of young men that have done it in the classroom as well as on the field, and very representative of their institutions.
Well, we see 15 first-team performers combined between Virginia State and Winston-Salem State. 15 first-team performers. No reason, easy to see why these teams are here today trying to duel it out for a championship. Out on the field now for Winston-Salem State, the Red Sea of Sound. Let's take a listen.
Don't turn away, it will miss nothing. As we feature the ladies of Silky with those silky brown eyes.
Graduation rates are growing the way the student bodies are growing as well. I know it's an area that Toyota really sees an impact you can have out in the communities as well.
Yes, we do. We believe that it's our corporate responsibility to support communities. The relationship with the HBCUs is important. They're our customers,
right?
And we duly need them, and we enjoy having them as customers. One of the things that we do with the CIAAs is that we provide education on our green initiative. And basically, that's to encourage, to educate our students. The Red Sea of Sound, It's beautiful. And the Trojan explosion, oh my God. The horns they play, that'd be great.
Absolutely. We'll look forward to that.
Yes.
John Ridgway of Toyota, always appreciate all you
honor.
do for the CIAA. Thanks for being with us here at the half.
Okay.
14-7 is our score. Red Sea of Sound entertaining the crowd here in Durham.
I'm Officer Ryan Kerrigan.
Welcome back to Durham. Virginia State out in front of Winston-Salem State here at the half, 14-7. Along with Stan Luter, I'm Scott Przwanski. Certainly appreciate you being with us here this afternoon for the CIAA Championship. And I'll tell you, Stan, for Virginia State, I don't think this game couldn't have gotten off to a better start for them.
Well, you get the fumble recovery for the touchdown, and there's boom, and then there's boom, boom when you get the drive and another fumble and the score. But you think about plays that change momentum, and you got a fourth down in about a yard, and you put it in the air. And I like the call. Do you keep them off balance? I didn't like the way it was executed and Winston-Salem quickly picks up momentum and scores out of that, and then we'll see what they're able to do in the second half.
Well, and Nico Johnson, I mean, the way this guy has played in the first half, Latrell Scott has to be pleased. But now maybe on the other side of the ball, you figure Winston-Salem State getting a feel for what Virginia State wants to do with him.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you got to be concerned about if you're Virginia State, that now Winston-Salem seen maybe everything that you throw in at them. How will they adjust? This Winston-Salem State team can score quick, fast, in a hurry, and we know how dominant the defense will be. It'll be another chess match in the second half. And again, which we said in the open, the team that makes the fewest mistakes has got the chance to win the CIAA championship.
Well, Winston-Salem State had that early turnover, which led to the first points of the game, which Virginia State was able to take that fumble recovery back for the touchdown. Take a look here at some of our highlights.
Well, Scott, again, that's the miscommunication. You lose the football. Dontrell Jones sets the CIAA record with a 62-yard fumble recovery. So you got to get it blocked right there. They put pressure on Winston-Salem ass all day. Virginia State sees that opportunity, and there's a play again, just not quite connected on the handoff. And you got to have plays like that if you expect to win championships. And then later on, early in the second quarter, Nico Johnson, remember the yellow line is not the goal line, it's the white line. He extends, lays it out. There's the fumble, clearly a fumble, but Ronnie Ransom, all-conference performer right there, gets the recovery, and it's 14-0. And after a change of possession, Winston-Salem State finally gets something going. This is just an excellent move that we get. And then a pretty pass, 83, picks it up from 38 yards. How about the reversal of numbers? But Eric Williams does a nice job of the move and the catch. And the touchdown gets us to 14-7, and that's where we stand at the half.
And you look at our Toyota first half stats, and I'm paying particular attention to the rushing yards. Virginia State with 97 yards rushing in the first half. Keep in mind, Winston-Salem State only gives up 99 yards a game, so Virginia State able to move the football on the ground, and time of possession so huge as well here, as Winston-Salem State hasn't had the football that often. When they have had it, they haven't had it for very long. 20 minutes to virtually about 10 minutes there in terms of time of possession. Second half is coming up upon us. Virginia State up by a touchdown. Winston-Salem State will have the football to start off the third quarter.
Started my Camry. Went to the auction. Won a storage locker. Found an old guitar. Tracked down the previous owner. Reunited them. Hit the jackpot.
The bold new Camry. One bold choice leads to another. Toyota. Let's go places.
Covert ops, double agent, spy thriller. You don't know ARP. Thanks to the AARP Tech program, this
CIAA football is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Food Lion. By Coca-Cola. By Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it. Winston-Salem State trailing by 7 as we get set to start the second half. And Phillip Sims threw that scoring pass to Eric Williams of 38 yards for the only points of the game here for the Rams. And this Winston-Salem State offense, which we've talked about, averaging almost 38 points a game, held to just 7 here in the first half. And the faithful here today on a chilly day in Durham, but, you know, for obvious reasons, that touchdown pass before the end of the half for Winston-Salem State was important, but not just points on the board, but Winston-Salem State, they really needed something good to happen to them, and they get it before the half, and you wonder now, can that momentum carry over here to start the third quarter?
Yeah, you'll find out very soon. I mean, his first drive, and you got to think that they're going to try to really stretch the field, and as we said a few moments ago, maybe they figured out exactly what Virginia State come up and do. So it's about adjustments. That's all the second half becomes, is adjustments in a close game. The nationwide dance contest out there. Somebody just won Look at it. Watch this. Watch this. Watch it move. Watch it move. You know, that's a twofold
Exciting
thing.
to win anything,
Well,
isn't
it's
it?
a twofold thing. One, you know, it's nationwide.
Got the nationwide sweatshirt. Feeling good about that.
He wins. He loves to win. But secondly, it's a way to keep warm.
Point well taken.
You know?
Point well taken. If you didn't have that boot on your foot, I thought you might be able to get out there with him, Stan. We'll see.
And I
maybe
need a
next
nationwide
year.
shirt, though. That's the
Nationwide
thing.
sweatshirt.
That's what keeps you warm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, if you look to the top,
where'd you find that?
If you look to the top right of your screen, second from the right, there's a younger looking Stan Luter. What I want to know is, can you still fit in the coat? Can you still fit
in the red
suit?
coat?
Yeah,
in the red coat?
In the red coat.
Yeah, but look at this. Okay, Charles Shackelford and Rodney Monroe, Chris Corciani, Billy Del Negro, Brian
Brown.
Hard, Chucky Brown. Yeah. You know, Avi Lester from Roxborough, Brian D'Amico, my man Dick Stewart, Clay Moser, Ray Martin, Big Pine Ray, you know. Hey, Jim Reebok, V, of course, my man V, and my man. Oh, I know who did that now. I know where that came from.
Second half is underway. Mustafa Green takes it. Out across to about the 22-yard line. We've been waiting all season long.
We won the
to
ACC
show
that year, you know.
No doubt due to a very young and dapper-looking Stan Luter.
And my man.
In the red blazer. Do you still have
red
it?
blazer? Yeah, I do.
Does it fit? You didn't answer my question. Does it fit? Does it still fit?
First down, Winston-Salem State. How about that? Are you kidding me? You've been to the buffet line with me.
No question about it. So the Rams here.
The good times.
Will take over. And Phillip Sims to start the second half. Swings it out to Green and brought down about the 31-yard line by 3 or 4 white jerseys.
One of the things that's a little bit of a weakness for this Virginia State defense is they've given up 162 yards on average in the air. Winston-Salem State, conversely, about 270 yards in the air. So you got to think that if Winston-Salem's able to run the football at all, that's going to set up the passing game. And with Phillip Sims in, that's the throwing quarterback. Look for the ball to be in the air a lot more.
Pick up a 4 on the play. They'll hand it off. Pile maybe move forward a yard or two for Maurice Lewis, and brings up an early third down for Winston-Salem State. Call it 3rd and 6.
Winston-Salem's not really had the ball that often. 2 out of 4 on third down conversions as you take a look at Phillip Sims' numbers.
Third down for the Rams. Sims wants to throw it. It's got a man out of the backfield, and he's brought down short. Mustafa Green brought down as Andre Rawls, the senior all-conference performer, came up on the stop.
Andre Rawls, 4th tackle on the day, couldn't have come at a better time. They tried that swing pass, and they've had a lot of success this year, Scott, with that to various backsmen, especially Maurice Lewis and Mustafa Green. And a big defensive stand, would you not agree, for Fayetteville State?
If you're Virginia State.
That uniform thing's got me all shook up right now.
Big-time stop, I think, for Virginia State, as you mentioned, Stan, just from a momentum standpoint. William Johnson from about his own 22 just gets it away. Dion Futch will let it roll and takes a Ram bounce all the way down to about the 19-yard line. So the Trojan defense holds here early, and their offense will have it when we come back.
I'm Officer Ryan Kerrigan, Bon Secours Men's Health Unit. It's my job to keep the streets lean and healthy.
Dude.
Just underway here in the third quarter. Virginia State with their first possession here of the second half, and the Trojans leading it 14-7. Up in our booth, we've got a prime guest in Millette Granville of Food Line, Director of Diversity and Inclusion in Millette. We certainly appreciate you being with us here this afternoon. And I know Food Line has been a long-standing corporate sponsor of the CIAA, and it's been a great relationship for you all, hasn't it?
Absolutely, 21 years. So we're excited about the partnership and excited about all the things the CIAA is doing. It's a part of our commitment to diversity as well as education and women and men's athletics. So we're excited.
Yeah, no better conference to be affiliated with, obviously, than the CIAA. You guys do a lot in the communities of these schools, don't you?
Absolutely. We are now currently working on Food Lion Feeds and going to do some food pantries at Johnson C. Smith and Livingstone College and a lot of other things that we have in place. So we are very committed to the community, and we also hire a lot of CIAA graduates as well. We have 2 working on my team right now. Miss CIAA, we hired her this year, and Carl Boswell as well.
So it's been a great relationship on all fronts. Speaking with Millette Granville of Food Line, the Director of Diversity and Inclusion, I want to ask you one more question before we let you go. With the way these schools have continued to grow, how have you seen Food Line continue to expand on what you all are doing based on what the CIAA is doing in terms of their schools growing and growing and growing?
Well, one thing that we're very proud of is we've continued to grow our contribution to scholarships. We, since 2003, have given over $3.2 million to CIAA schools in scholarship. And then we also go out to the campuses and make sure that we are talking to the students, getting them ready for internships. We had 17 CIAA students go through our retail management training program. So very excited about that.
Fantastic. I'm glad that you got a couple of them working for you as well.
Absolutely.
Millette Granville of Food Line, thank you so much for being with us here today. Stay warm out there, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you.
So the ball placed on the 31-yard line, 1st and 10, as Virginia State looking to move the chains here on this initial series. Handed off to Earl Hughes, and he's brought down. That's DJ Bunn, a transfer from North Carolina, coming in on the stop.
The outside. I haven't called Hughes' name very often, but a nice solid tackle by DJ Bunn. Virginia State able to get a 3rd and short a moment ago to keep this drive going. One thing you notice, Winston-Salem State doing a lot of shifting, especially to the short side of the field. Secondly, Virginia State taking their time and getting out of the play. 8 seconds on the play clock right now.
2nd and 17. For Nico Johnson, he's going to hand it off to Bellamy, and nowhere to go, brought down at the 25, and it looks like the ball's loose and it came out. Winston-Salem State says they've got it, and they do. And the first turnover of the game for Virginia State, and it comes deep in their own territory.
This is one of the things you expect when you've got a quarterback that hasn't necessarily run with first team, but that just looks like a big hit. And someplace in that pile is a strip. Let's take a look one more time. Bellamy hit inside. Host of Winston-Salem Rams, led by Connor O'Neill.
Rudy Johnson in at quarterback for Winston-Salem. He's going to drop it off, or try to Maurice Lewis. He had him, but Johnson under duress and maybe got rid of that one a little quicker than he wanted to. Lewis had a lot of green out in front of him.
And one of the reasons that he had to get rid of them is Andre Rawls came from his linebacker spot and really leveled Johnson. But let's take a look one more time. And that's just a nice strip. I think the play was caused by Casey Davenport.
Hand off to Lewis. And Maurice Lewis has been quiet thus far, but certainly erupt at any time. Picks up 7 on that carry, and a 3rd down now, and about 3 for the Rams.
Got a full arsenal there. If you're Winston-Salem, caver to the bottom part of our screen. The top in the slot, you've got Williams, who got the touchdown a moment ago.
Low snap. Johnson has to go down low to pick it up. churning his way forward, and looks like he lost the football.
Oh my goodness.
And Winston-Salem State gives it right back. That's Ray Procise out of the pack with the football.
The engineering major comes up with a big play, low snap. Rudy Johnson, we know he likes to run. He's got the banged up ankle. Procise among other guys, and maybe Procise just takes this ball away from him. Nevertheless, a huge defensive play for Virginia State.
Procise, a sophomore from Petersburg, Virginia. As the teams trade the football back and forth here.
Bright sun, you're going back into it to look for a football. If you're Virginia State, they're going to keep it on the ground.
Hand it off to Trey Johnson, the senior running back. Nothing doing there. Second down now for the Trojans. Devontae Covington, Alfie Hill, Connor O'Neill, Casey Davenport, Michael Bloomfield, all those guys have been in on stops here today, trying to keep Virginia State back in their own territory on this series. 2nd and 8. Johnson in the gun, fakes the handoff, rolls out, and overshot his tight end, Andrew Clark. And a 3rd and 8 now for the Trojans.
And no matter what happens in this football game, Nico Johnson's going to have nightmares about Alquan Bullock. He's been in his backfield all afternoon long. Laid a lick on him as he was getting rid of that pass. Virginia State's had some success so far, Scott. 6 out of 9 in 3rd downs in the first half. 1 out of 2 in the second. This is a huge one.
See, it's 7 of 10 so far. This one's 3rd and 8 for Johnson. Over the middle, got a man. Complete to Stubblefield, and another first down on a 3rd down conversion for the Trojans.
They're not asking Nico Johnson to make long throws. Again, you send 4 guys into the pattern, and inside you'll see Stubblefield just find a little seam in the zone, goes underneath, catches the ball, a nice 17-yard pickup.
Johnson's been really poised in that pocket. Ball out to the 33-yard line. If you're just joining us, Virginia State led 14-0. Rams scored about a minute and a half to go before the end of the half. Johnson with a short pickup. Michael Douglas in on the stop for Winston-Salem State. So we'll call it 2nd and 7 here for Virginia State. Well, you know, these are 2 of the higher scoring offenses in the conference, 2 of the better defenses in the conference as well. And right now it's defense which is winning out on both sides. Just 14-7 here with 7 minutes to play in the 3rd. Johnson again over the left side this time. Shy of the first down, and 3rd down on the way. And as has become a reoccurring theme, as Latrell Scott looks on, can Winston-Salem State get off the field on 3rd down?
This is a little longer than the first one a moment ago. 3rd and a full 2 yards. They've had success with the read option. 3 wide receivers to the top of your screen. Futch is in the slot. Number 11. Blitz is on.
Here's Johnson, gets rid of it, and incomplete. Tried to get Trey Johnson out of the backfield. The pressure got to him and had to unleash it quicker than he wanted to, and the punting unit comes on for the Trojans. So Winston-Salem State holds Standing back at about his own 25-yard line is the first-teamer Brendan Felder.
I would not kick to Felder if I'm Virginia State. And if I'm Winston, this might be a perfect time for punt block or punt return. Strong return.
Hillcrest, the freshman, boots it away. High punt, forces Felder to the sidelines, and he's out just shy of the 25.
Rams had return set up. A nice punt by Hillcrest to kind of put him in the corner out of bounds.
Winston-Salem State football trailing by 7 when we come back.
Let's go.
Virginia State clinging to a 7-point lead, and our McDonald's fan of the game.
Miss Winston-Salem State. Boy, it must be top of the world. You're the homecoming queen, and you're the McDonald's fan of the game. It ain't getting much better than that now.
Certainly does not. She's hoping Rudy Johnson and the Rams can get something going here.
And typical with Winston, they alternate every 2 series of quarterbacks.
Check it, it's Sims over the middle. He's got Mustafa Green, and Green, with the extra effort, may have had the first down. A lot of choices for our McDonald's fan of the game today. And a great selection there.
Where's Polite? Outstanding left tackle. See what happens there. If his knee could see at the top of the play there, he goes down. Nice little inside catch for Winston-Salem from Mustafa Green. Speaking of NC State, transferred from North Carolina State. Set out 2 seasons and has really come into his own. And with Maurice Lewis departing, you tend to think that the premier back next season will be Mustafa Green.
Man, you look at the offensive possessions for Winston-Salem State here today, and if you have followed the Rams, you would say there's no way that's what their offense has been doing today. Give a lot of credit to what Virginia State has been able to do defensively, but the Rams just have not been able to move the football at all outside of one scoring drive when they went 78 yards.
If you look at this, in the first half alone, they ran 20 plays for 159, 47 on the ground. The last 5 games Winston-Salem State's played, they've averaged over 225 yards and outscored their opponents 37-9. So you got to give the Virginia State defense, which has been a very strong defense, number 2 rated in the CIAA, only giving up 18 points a ball game. Got to give them a lot of credit. They have stood tall so far in this ball game. If you're a Ram fan, you just got to know that there's an explosion coming at some point in time. You just don't know when it's going to be.
And where it's going to come from. They continue to tend to Polite down on the field. And we'll step away here with 6:02 left to play here in the third.
So why switch to...
Scott, take a look at the top of your screen there to your left, number 62, Jacques Paulette. It just looks like he gets tangled up at the end of that play, and maybe his right knee or right ankle. We'll have to get a report from Kevin Manns.
And he was helped off the field and tending him on the sidelines right now, and in and out of the hands of Felder. As Sims tried to find him. There's a look at big offensive lineman, sophomore from Ridgewood, South Carolina. Certainly hope that young man's okay. 2nd and 10 now for Phillip Sims. Ball on the 36. Sims will hand it off to Green, and not a whole lot over the left side. So 3rd and long now coming up for the Rams. Talked a lot about the Winston-Salem State defensive line, but the big fellas up front for the Trojans have done the job as well. Jones, Precise, Claiborne, Ronald Lewis as well. So 3rd and 7 from the 39 for Winston-Salem. Sims surveying, he's going to tuck it under. He's got some room down the sidelines, and first down and then some for Phillip Sims. You don't see him run it that often, but Sims taking advantage of what the defense gave him.
Excellent decision by Sims. Feels the pressure. Good job, Virginia State, in their pass coverage. No one available. Sims tucks it down, picks up 17 yards, keeps the Winston-Salem Ram drive alive.
Ball down on the 43-yard line of Virginia State. Sims hands it off. And a short gain on the play for Green. Pickup of, we'll call it 3. Brandon Robinson, senior, in on the stop.
Let's see Maurice Lewis on the sideline, helmet on. He's been awful quiet, only 5 carries. Not sure if he's injured or you're keeping Green as maybe the hot guy, but Maurice Lewis, number 7 all-time rushing in Winston-Salem football history.
Sims wants to throw it this time. Here comes the pressure. Got a man out of the backfield. It's Hazlett, and down at about the 29-yard line.
What Winston-Salem State's taking advantage of is the man pressure that you're seeing out of Virginia State. And when no receivers are open downfield, and just a little dump off, Sims does a nice job of avoiding pressure, and Hazlett, one of those big tight ends for the Rams, with a nice gain.
His 12th catch of the year. The ball down on the 29. 14 yards on the pickup. Sims fakes the handoff. Looks downfield into double coverage. Intercepted. Picked off by Thomas. Flag on the play in the backfield.
Darian Thomas does a nice job not being fooled by the second pump. This ball just a little bit underthrown. Throws into coverage. Thomas changes sides to say, I take it out, do I not take it out? And then he lets it go, and then there's a hold after the change of possession. But see, there's the play. It floats this up there, throws this into coverage. Nice job of covering to the outside by Piggott, and the inside getting the free safety coming over the top.
Virginia State fans love it here in Durham. Second possession here in the second half where Winston-Salem State has been threatening in Virginia State territory, and they've turned it over. And the clock continues to go. Darian Thomas, the junior, huge pick, his 5th of the season. Bellamy will take it on the right side. And stood up about the 22-23 yard line by Terry Ross. You wonder for Winston-Salem State, these opportunities are going to come back and haunt them. They've had 2 pretty good ones here in the second half, and they've given it back with the turnover to the Trojans. .310 to go in the quarter. Bellamy again cuts it back, and again stood up, this time at about the 25-yard line.
Line to gain is 28. It's going to be about a yard and a half short, I think. So we're faced with yet another 3rd down situation for Virginia State. I like them trying to get the ball in Bellamy's hands. Something to the outside. We saw the little fade route just before the half. It didn't go so well.
We'll see if they give it to Bellamy here. Needing one.
They like to run a lot of times away from the slot side.
Hand it off to Bellamy. And it's going to be close.
Don't think he got it. Nope, they've already indicated 1st down.
Another 3rd down conversion for Bellamy and Virginia State. This guy, Nico Johnson, has had a heck of a championship game, making his first career start. Here comes the pressure. Johnson gets it away. Almost picked off. Alquan Bullock, the junior from right here in Durham, almost had it.
DJ Dunn comes from the outside along with one of the interior guys and put so much pressure on, had a blitz to the end, and Bullock nearly was able to come up with a pick. But Nico Johnson read that blitz to the inside. Nice job by Casey Davenport. He's been in the backfield all afternoon too. Johnson able to get rid of it. Nearly had an interception by Bullock.
Second down. Handed off. Johnson, nowhere to go. Red jerseys everywhere.
Defense on defense today. We talked about it at the beginning of the ball game. Line of scrimmage. And Davenport, who's had a heck of a ball game, makes the initial hit, doesn't give up on the play.
And now the Ram faithful are trying to get into it on a 3rd and 13. One minute left to play here in the third. Here's Johnson. Reverses, fires it downfield, and almost an outstanding one-handed grab by Smallwood, but he couldn't bring it in, and the defense holds for the Rams.
And I like this reverse pivot. Watch the reverse pivot there to Nico Johnson. Influences that way. Just a little bit off balance, floats, and Nico Johnson almost came out with the highlight reel play.
Smallwood with the left hand and almost corralled it in.
Smallwood had a nice catch a couple of weeks ago in the Trojans game, very similar to that. Had the one reception last week for a touchdown, nearly came up with another huge one.
See if they come after Hillcrest here. Gets it away, and not a good punt this time. An excellent field position coming up for Winston-Salem State. The Rams have the field position. Can they convert? Here as we get set to close out the third quarter.
Holiday season is fastly approaching, and at City to City Auto Sales, it's the buy now, pay later sale. No payments in November, no payments in December, no payments until next year. The buy now, pay later sale is happening now at City to City Auto Sales. The vehicles you dream of are all waiting. No credit, bad credit, need credit, no problem.
Winston-Salem State will have possession on the 45-yard line of Virginia State. Another opportunity here for this Rams offense, which has just been thwarted by the Trojan defense.
And Rudy Johnson returns at quarterback now. So that extra dimension of the running quarterback is now added for Winston-Salem State.
And they have Maurice Lewis in the backfield along with him. Here's Johnson over the middle and incomplete. Had two receivers crossing, and the ball went in between both of them.
That's the second time that Felder's run some type of crossing route, and looks like he's unable to pick up the football. It's a very bright day, and you're looking right back into that sun.
It's Felder and Townsend crossing, and both just kind of turned and looked at the other one. 2nd and 10. Handed off to Lewis. And a short pickup on the ground for Lewis. Precise, among others, in on the stop.
Is that Michael Sellers?
It's Michael Sellers, a senior. A little shaken up as he hobbles off the field.
So then you bring in the backup center, Gregory.
Here's Johnson, and he goes down. Brandon Robinson leads a host of Trojans in.
Virginia State, 14 sacks on the season. None could come quicker. A little twist to the inside. We told you Brandon Robinson, one of the best defenders in the CIAA, gets his 5th sack of the year. Rudy Johnson had no chance there. Virginia State brought one more guy than the offensive line of Winston-Salem could control. And remember, they had a new center in for that play. And Brandon Robinson reads it and gets the big sack to end the quarter.
Third quarter comes to a close. 14-7, Virginia State. To show you how we got here was the fumble early on by Green, picked up by Dontrell Jones, and he went 61 yards for the touchdown. And look again, and just whoop, look what I found. And Jones put on the afterburners, and the Trojans needed something good to happen early in this ball game, and it certainly did, as the defense has been able to get the job done. Of course, offensively, Nico Johnson has been able to move the team down the field. Here he lost the football, but whoop, came right into the hands of Ronnie Ransom, and football has been going their way for sure. 14-0 the score there. And then Jen, with about a minute 20 left to play in the second quarter, Sims to Eric Williams, 38 yards. 14-7, our score at the half, and that's where we stand right now. Offense has been hard to come by for Winston-Salem State, and the Rams got to punt it away again now. And a nice punt and a good roll for Winston-Salem fans, and the ball will be down at the 5-yard line. Once again, that Rams defense will come on the field with an opportunity to keep Virginia State backed up. Winston-Salem State's had great field position here in the second half. They haven't been able to do anything with it.
Now for Virginia State, you can't play to keep from winning, but you can't make a lot of mistakes down here. This is danger time. What can they do on first down? They've had a lot of success early in the football game with the read option. That surprise element's gone away. Winston-Salem's recovered and responded to that.
Johnson will hand it off to Bellamy. Picks up a couple. This is the time of game when Bellamy really begins to show his strength.
And Scott, keep an eye on the play clock too. Virginia State not making any attempt to hurry to get a play in right now. They'll probably snap this ball somewhere under 7 seconds.
Gain of 4 on the play. 2nd and 6. Here's Johnson. He wants to throw it. Got a man and complete, but just shy of the first down marker. Deion Futch with the reception. Devontae Hill, the senior, in on the stop. Here we go again on third down.
Sounds like a broken record. 9 out of 14 in third down conversions for Virginia State. Winston-Salem State would love to hold them here, get off the field, and let the offense try to make a play.
Third and 2. Ball placed on the 13-yard line.
Open backfield. You think run now or short pass?
Johnson looks like he wants to pass it. He's going to tuck it under. Can he turn the corner? I'm not so sure if he got it. Real close again.
They had success early with the plan draw. Block right there at the end of the play. Couldn't right tell for the spot. I think he's about a yard short.
Yeah, he's going to be short. The Rams defense will trot off the field on a 3 and out.
Gregory with a nice tackle. He's had a nice run.
Well, you'll remember now as Hillcrest comes on, didn't really have one of his better efforts on his last punt. Felder at the 45 to receive the punt, and Hillcrest in his own end zone. Gets it away, and another short kick. Winston-Salem State's just going to clear away from the football. And the Rams will have it in great field position, trailing by 7.
To be styling and profiling? Then make your way to GQ Menswear, where you buy a suit and get 2 suits for free. Yes, buy 1 suit and get 2 suits free. Or get the GQ hookup, where you buy it.
Getting a look over on the sidelines. Willie Stubblefield shaking up on that last series for Virginia State. Right now, it's about their defense. It's Phillip Sims will take over on the 28-yard line of Virginia State after a 14-yard punt.
You got to think Felder or Williams. Felder at the bottom of the screen. I think if you're Winston, you got to take a shot.
Felder in motion, handed off to Massey on the left side. He's got room. Massey to the 20, tries to turn the corner, and down just shy of the 15.
Nice play call by Steve Labisky. They put Felder in motion. Started him wide, came to the inside, and opened up the entire side, left side of the field, and a nice pickup by Massey.
Look at our Toyota game summary and time of possession, something we've been following throughout the course of this game. Virginia State almost doubling up how long they've held on to the football. Winston-Salem State threatening here, low snap, and could have been disastrous for the Rams. Nowhere to go for Massey. He'll bring up 2nd down.
You look at those stats, 52 plays for Virginia State, 36 plays for Winston-Salem State. And Virginia State's run the ball 38 times going into the quarter. When they've rushed 40 times or more, Scott, they're 8-0.
Loss of 3 on the play, 2nd and 13. Here's Sims, fakes the handoff. Downfield, got a man. Touchdown! Touchdown Rams, it's Brendan Felder. What a catch!
The transfer from Pitt. We told you, special teams player of the year. Nice throw by Sims, laying out for a championship. Does he hold on to it? Touchdown, Winston-Salem. Did that ball move any?
Might have to get another look at it. The PAT to tie things up. And that's how quickly the Rams can strike. They had great field position. And then Sims and Felder hook up, and we're tied at 14. Let's look one more time here.
Nice protection by the offensive line. Gives Sims plenty of time. He throws a really pretty ball. From that angle, you can't really see if that ball is juggled or anything. You be the judge.
Stretches out, hauls it in. Boy, he's got it pinned up against his helmet almost, doesn't he? It looks like that right arm might have been underneath of it.
I think that's a catch. I think that's a catch, exactly. I think that's a catch, yes.
Well, there's only so many opportunities you can give this Winston-Salem State offense. If you're Virginia State, they've had excellent field position here in the second half. They convert this time. Only takes them 3 plays to go the 28 yards.
We talked about it. You can't make mistakes. You can't make mistakes in the kicking game. 2 poor punts gives good field position. This is a Winston-Salem State team, Scott, that scored 20 touchdowns, 2 minutes or less. You had to have a feeling they were going to get on the board soon.
Low line drive kick picked up by Dion Futch. He'll bring it across the 30-yard line, and that's where Nico Johnson will come back out on the field.
And as impressive as Nico Johnson was early in this football game, you got to still remember, the offense of Fayetteville State has not scored. It's been a special teams play. As far as drives go, I'm saying.
Well, Virginia State offense, which has been very conservative once they got up 14-0, 14-7. We'll see if they unleash Nico Johnson a little bit here. Hand it off to Hughes. No, fumble. Johnson had it and he lost it. Winston-Salem State's got it. Things coming unglued for the Trojans. Look again here.
They've had a lot of success all day with the option play, the little dive. Hughes, he's just simply hit. Nice play.
Alfie Hill
comes up with the hit right there. And the Rams are in business.
Low snap, and they quickly hand it off. This is Lewis. Across the 25. Winston-Salem State riding some momentum here. The Rams trying to hunt down another championship. Sims hands it off to Lewis again. Voids a tackler. Brought down just shy of the first down.
Watch Alfie Hill, number 99. Fake to Hughes. Johnson just can't make the play. Hill's excited. And 92, my man Connor O'Neill, who was out early in the ball game due to an injury, comes up with the huge fumble recovery.
3rd and 1. They'll bring in Tyree Massey, 220-pound junior in the backfield. They'll direct snap it to Massey, and he'll surge his way forward for a first down.
Scott, you look across where there were smiling faces in orange and blue a few moments ago. Now very dejected, very worried, very concerned. How can we let this game get away from us? 9:40 to go.
Maurice Lewis back in the backfield. Darian Thomas trying to hold court defensively out of the backfield, complete. And another healthy gain as Michael Bennis, fullback, gets a touch there.
Every now and then you'll see Winston-Salem State run or throw to the fullback. That'll keep you honest. Michael Bennis, first reception of the season. Something else to make Virginia State think about.
Gain of 6 on the play. Ball down at about the 13-yard line. The Rams saying, yeah, let's go. This is our time here. Here's Sims. Handed off to Lewis. He lost it. Ball's on the deck. Who got it? Scramble for it underneath. Lewis just lost the football, it looked like.
Winston-Salem.
Well, Ray Precise comes out of the pack with the football. They're going to say it's Ram football.
Kicks it.
Winston-Salem State dodges one there. And a great opportunity for Virginia State, and they just couldn't pick it up.
There's Justin Key, I think, on the recovery.
3rd and 6 here for Sims. Hands it off to Mustafa Green. He'll cut back across the 10. And it looks like a first down for Winston-Salem State. Great running by Mustafa Green.
They give you Lewis, they give you Massey for power. They throw to Bennis, and then all of a sudden the cutback ability, the great agility of Mustafa Green. And now a Trojan down. I think that's Precise.
See Latrell Scott out on the field. Give a couple words to his defense as they tend to the injured Trojan player.
Scott, why I got a quick chance. I just want to thank all the guys and ladies in the truck and everybody that did such a great job, that, you know, especially Doug Bell and Chuck May, our director and producer, that have been with us all season, and the all crew. And don't have time to give everybody's names, but, you know, Alex and Josh and Charles and John and Jim and Steve and Don and Tim and Jay and Doug and Neil and Billy, thank you guys for everything you do. You know, the urban sports team's been great this year. You know, Kadita Kenner has done a nice job in getting everything set up for us for ball games. Thanks, KK, for all you do. And CEO Tom Grabowski, and then our stations. And, you know, this is the time you got to thank people there, because it might get busy, but the WAXN's done a great job. The folks down in Greenville and in Columbus, Ohio, and here in Raleigh, Durham, and Aspire, can't thank you enough for everything you've done all season long, and in Dayton and Wichita, and like I said, Columbus, Georgia, and Ohio, and High Point, Greensboro, Winston-Salem. I know y'all are loving this right now.
Well said. The first and goal from the 8, handed off to Green. Short pickup, and that'll bring up second down.
But think of this, every weekend during the season, the names that I called have given up their own things to be with us, day, night, cold weather, hot weather, taking the equipment up to do it. And I just can't thank them enough. And like I said, our folks at Urban have been working so hard, and Aspire jumped on this year and carrying all the games. We were down in Alabama and the thunderstorm and everything, and they stayed right with us, and thank them and all our local affiliates as well.
Sims under pressure, and he'll go down. Daryl Simmons in on the stop.
Haven't talked a lot about Daryl Simmons, the 6'1", 220-pound sophomore. Gets his 3rd sack on the afternoon. Couldn't have come at a better time for Virginia State. You kind of got the feeling that Sims, a big guy at 6'3", 6'4", is going to get away from him. But down he goes, and Virginia State still says, hey, we're still in this ball game.
Loss of 12 on the play was Brandon Lynch, who brought the initial pressure, and then Simmons cleared it up. Ball back at the 18. He'll hand it off to Lewis. Spins his way forward and brought down at about the 11-yard line. So the field goal unit will trot on for Winston-Salem State. And William Johnson, the sophomore, or is it Suarez will jump on the field?
Suarez, the all-conference kicker, 9 out of 12 on the season.
Suarez for the lead. And it's good. Alejandro Suarez, the senior all-conference performer, and the Rams take their first lead of the game. Just like you draw it up, 29 yards out, and Suarez celebrating as the Rams take the lead 17-14. Here with 5:48 to play. Our AARP legend of the game, Pettis Norman of Johnson C. Smith.
Great guy. Played with those early Dallas Cowboy teams, was an all-conference performer and All-American at Johnson C. Smith in the early 1960s. Played basketball, all CIAA there too, and was, you know, think about cold weather today. Was a receiver in that Ice Bowl game way back in the day, Dallas and Green Bay. But Pettis Norman, and if you're going on some of the got the DVR and you remember that recording a couple years ago when President Kennedy, there was a special on the 50th anniversary last year. Pettis Norman, one of the prominent people talking about that game, but couldn't have happened to a better guy. AARP legend, Pettis Norman.
So can Virginia State respond here? Brought down at the 25. Jarrell Jackson in on the stop. Now this Virginia State offense, really the last 2 series or so, the first time they've been a little bit shaken all game, and now coming off that fumble. How will Nico Johnson and company respond here? Trailing for the first time this afternoon. Ball will be placed here at the 26-yard line. Hand off to Bellamy. Steps through the middle and little doing there. Look at the possessions for Virginia State. Started off well, and then the last 5, fumble, punt, 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 and another fumble. It has been rough going for this offense as the game has gone on, and Coach Scott looking for some answers on this series.
Scott, we talked about it in the open. Big plays and mental mistakes for Virginia State.
Johnson will go to the air. He's got time. Then it closes in on him and hurls it towards the sideline. Alfie Hill, among others. Casey Davenport in.
Suarez may come up and have what they may say is a game winner, but the defense of Winston-Salem State kept them in and may win this game for them. There's more and more pressure. Alfie Hill, Vontae Covington, O'Neal, and Davenport. And don't forget DJ Bunn and Terry Ross have lived in the Virginia State backfield. This is the ball game.
3rd and 7 for the Trojans. Johnson back to pass. Down the sidelines, got Bellamy. Big gain for Virginia State, and they're into Winston-Salem State territory. Perfect pass. Bellamy hauled it in, and down the sidelines he goes.
Coming up under pressure and making a play. Johnson just floats this out. A wheel route up the sideline. Does he catch it? Yes, he does. Watch him hold the football. Grabbing it with 2 hands. Bullock all over the play. 33-yard pickup. We still got a ball game.
Nico Johnson comes up big. And who else but their all-conference running back Bellamy making the play. Hand it off to Hughes.
Scott, I'm gonna be very honest with you. If I'm Virginia State, I'm thinking nothing but a touchdown. You've got to score. I do not, and no disrespect on Hillquist, don't want no letters coming from it, but I don't like their kicking game right now. He's 5 out of 11 kicking, but his punting's been shaky. If I'm VSU, I got to get 6.
Crowd getting antsy on the VSU sidelines. 3:45 to go on a 2nd and 8. Johnson pump fakes. Here comes the pressure. Can he get away from it? Tosses it out of bounds. Boy, it has been that kind of afternoon for Nico Johnson. Good effort on his part to skate free and avoid what would have been a huge loss on a sack.
And this is what I kind of expected early in the football game, that Winston-Salem State would really amp it up. But Virginia State, to their offensive credit, kind of countered that by some read plays, some short passes, keeping the pressure off Nico Johnson. Now they see red. They're turning it up, the Rams.
Have to get to the 23-yard line or so for the first down.
Latrell Scott, the CIAA Coach of the Year. What can he dial up?
Do they have another 3rd down conversion in them? Here's Johnson. Here comes the heat. Over the middle, got a man. That's Stubblefield.
Now, initially, Stubblefield may have had the first down, and then he tried to reverse, get away from a defender, and I'm not quite sure that he got that, Scott. Larry Hearn comes up and closes.
Injured Ram on the field. Looks like it might be Hearn shaken up a little bit. He's gonna trot off the field under his own power.
Line of gain was the 23. He pulls back, so we're at 4th down, and a minute ago I said here's the ball game. I stand corrected.
On the year, 13 of 27 for the Rams on 4th down. Empty backfield for Johnson. Johnson's going to keep it. He's got room. He may go all the way. Johnson, touchdown, Virginia State. Nico Johnson on the keeper.
I can't take much more of this. This was a design quarterback draw. The open side of the field was to the right. You needed to get 2 yards. He got 25.
The PAT is good by Hillquist. And Virginia State has come back. 2:59 left. What do the Rams have in them when we come back? Well, that's what they're playing for here today in Virginia State. 2 minutes, 59 seconds away from a CIAA championship. Coach of the Year, Latrell Scott, telling his guys one more stop.
Virginia State had their heart broken in 2010 with a late touchdown by Shaw to win that 14-7 as their last trip to the CIAA Football Championship. We know what Winston-Salem State's done the last couple seasons.
Nico Johnson, 25 yards. Welcome to the CIAA, Mr. Johnson.
And you watching history, it could be 3 out of 4 championships for the Rams, or the first one for Virginia State in over 15 years.
Felder will take this one at his 10. He's got speed, but level at about the 28-yard line.
Andre Rawls comes up once again with the big hit.
Great coverage, just leveled him. Phillip Sims will come on the field for Winston-Salem State. Plenty of time with 2:54 on the clock. Sims over the middle. Got a man. Close to a first down is Donovan Raspberry.
Winston-Salem accustomed to scoring fast. Go run to some of their regular offense, but maybe a little bit of a sense of urgency.
Pickup of 8, 2nd and 2 for Sims.
Ball hit the ground.
Had a man open, and Eric Williams and just short hopped it to him. And here's 3rd down and 2. 2:23 to play. Actually, they're going to call it a catch and make it a first down. Rams move the chains. That's Lewis out of the backfield. Initially, it looked like they signaled incomplete pass, but they'll call it complete. Latrell Scott, you see the look on his face. He's wondering what happened. 2nd down and 5 nonetheless. 2 minutes left to play. Sims has time, directing downfield. Now he's going to run it and slides down after gaining the first down at about the 41-yard line. $150 and counting. Here's Sims again. Avoids the pressure. Flags on the play as Felder takes it. This one may be coming back. Felder gets down to about the 9-8 yard line, but penalty flags in the backfield, and it could be a hold here on Winston-Salem State.
Offense, 2. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay.
Let's take a look at the last play a moment ago, if we can. And there's a hold. Nice pickup by Felder.
Well, the hold will back up Winston-Salem State to their own 46 with 1:27 left to play. Sims pump fakes. He's flushed out of the pocket. He's going to run it and forced out of bounds just beyond midfield. Went out of bounds at midfield. 1:14 left to play. Virginia State fans on their feet, cheering on their defense. Sims all kinds of time, flushed out, and short-armed it.
Had a chance as I was looking at that play to watch Commissioner Jackie McWilliams kind of just walk by, and she's got this smile and she's nervous because she got a great championship game. You're going to watch some more history, Scott, in a couple of minutes. It'll be the first time you've had a woman AD, either Peggy Davis or Tanya Walker, going to carry home the championship. How about that for some history? I can't take much more of this drama right now.
3rd and 16. 1:07 left. Here's Sims. He's got time. Drops it off to Lewis. Lewis brought down at the 45. Heck of a play by Taekwonte Sims.
Haven't talked about Sims much today. Hasn't been on a big play, but couldn't have been bigger than that. The freshman with a huge tackle.
Winston-Salem State is going to get a timeout here with the clock at 43 seconds. You look again, great tackle in the open field by Sims as he brought down Maurice Lewis. If he doesn't get Lewis, he may go down towards that first down for sure. So 43.3 left on the clock. Get a good look at Steve Lubitsky, the offensive coordinator for Winston-Salem State. 4th and 12 coming up. Coach Boulware and company. Winston-Salem State took the lead on that field goal, 29 yards by Suarez with 5:48 to play, but Virginia State answers with Nico Johnson. Now the championship. Emotions beginning to set in. Latrell Scott in his 2nd year.
All right.
2 North Division titles. Rams.
Winston-Salem 9-1. They haven't lost a game since October of 2010. Where did they lose it? Right here, Durham County Stadium against Shaw.
4th and 12 from the 46. Here's Sims, fakes the handoff. Got a man, and incomplete. Tyrell Smith and the secondary holds for Virginia State, and they are feeling it in Petersburg.
Pressure. Sims has to get rid of this ball and just basically know where to throw the football. Too good a coverage for Virginia State.
Sims and Smith were there defensively. And the victory formation for Nico Johnson. A heartbreak for Winston-Salem State, trying to repeat as champions. So many questions about Nico Johnson today. Could the freshman handle it? His first start, only threw 3 passes all year.
What a game. What a game.
Virginia State, your 2014 CIAA champions. CIAA Football Championship for Virginia State. And they say you got to beat the best to be the best. Virginia State today knocking off what has been one of the most dominant programs in CIAA history. And our player of the game, who else but this guy, Nico Johnson, our Food Lion MVP of the game. Had a number of huge third down conversions through the air with his feet, 12 of 19, 125 yards on the ground, 76 yards on the ground, none bigger than the go-ahead score late in the fourth quarter.
There's so many big plays. I mean, you think about the fumble. You think about the second fumble recovery. The lead for the touchdown that Winston-Salem's able to take. The fourth down, you know, the plays. You know what? This is one of those games where it's just better left just sit back and enjoy what's been an outstanding CIAA season. And we talked about it, but congratulations to Virginia State, Nico Johnson, and Dr. Miller, and athletic director Peggy Davis, who wins another championship at Virginia State. And what can you say about Latrell Scott? And they have maligned this guy a lot over the last couple of seasons, and the incidents, whatnot. And somehow or another, he's been able to be the Trojan and fight on. And congratulations to VSU. Winston-Salem, you still got a chance. I think you'll get a bid too, but victors go to spoil to the Trojans.
CIAA will be well represented moving forward. Latrell Scott goes undefeated last year in conference play. He goes undefeated again this season. Virginia State lost their first 2 games of the season. They haven't lost since. In fitting fashion, in emphatic fashion, this Virginia State group came up big when they needed to. Defensively, they kept the Rams offense at bay. And the Trojans have danced their way to a championship. Congratulations to Virginia State, your 2014 CIAA championship. For Stan Litter, I'm Scott Przwanski and our entire broadcast crew. Good afternoon from Durham.
Pacific Northwest.